All right, in today's episode, it's a new segment where I recap the week's worth of training that I'm doing for the upcoming 50K I have in April. I'm doing the Death by 5K in Memphis, Tennessee in mid April 2024. And we thought it'd be cool leading up to the event, giving you weekly updates as this is a very new style of training for me. So let's dive in. This is the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast, and we're here to build autonomous athletes and put phenomenal programming into every garage, basement, and spare bedroom out there. I'm Jerred Moon, and I'm with Joe Courtney. We are strength and conditioning coaches who have turned over 20,000 people into garage gym athletes over the last decade. And we're here to reduce the information overload that exists in the health and fitness industry today. We're going to do that by covering relevant science and give actionable takeaways, not only from the data, but from our years of experience. So let's dive in. All right, welcome to the new segment. These will be short episodes, really just recapping my training and what I'm doing as I prepare for the 50K, talking about also strength training, because that's a big element for me. I'm not just going to be a runner in preparation for a 50K race. So let's talk about what I'm doing. Just finished my honest second week of training. And what this training looks like is it's 6 days per week, and 3 days will be dedicated to running. 3 days will be dedicated to strength training. The strength training will be the strength that we have that's called body geometry. And we'll be publishing more and more information about that as time goes on. But we have body geometry 2.0 that we're actually testing right now. So again, I'll provide more information probably in a different podcast, a little bit longer format, so I can explain more of that. And all of the runs that I'm doing, the 3 runs are for the first 8 weeks are all aerobic base building. So what I've been doing is pretty much zone 2, MAF zone 2. So MAF zone 2, we've talked about a lot, 180 minus your age, and really trying to get about 5 to even 10 beats per minute below that MAF zone 2. So really slow aerobic base building stuff 3 days per week. And 2 of the runs are anywhere from an hour 15 minutes to an hour and a half. And then there's one longer run, or at least there was in week 2, that's an hour and 45 minutes. So overall, a good week of training. I'm learning a lot about heart rate training as the temperatures fluctuate quite a bit here in Texas. I mean, no joke. In the same week, I did one training session that was, around 73 degrees, high humidity. And then at the end of the week, did a training run when it was 44 degrees. And these were like around the same time of day. It's not like I did one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So just a lot of fluctuation with a cold front coming through. But what I'm learning with heart rate training in general is, a lot of different things can affect your heart rate. And I know the weather that's a pretty obvious one. So if it's hotter or more humid outside, your body's working to cool itself. So your heart rate will be higher, which means your pace is going to be slower, because it's not your heart rate's not just high because you're running. It's also high because it's hotter and your body's working actively to cool itself. But what I've also noticed almost consistently now is if I try to run in the afternoon, which I've been trying to do lately because there is a cold front coming through, and morning runs would be more like 30 degrees, and afternoon runs, we're going to be in the 50s. What I've been noticing is afternoon runs, maybe due to work or whatever, are just trash runs. And so I'm really trying to figure that out right now, something that I'm trying to dial in, because even when the weather's good, my performance is so much worse in the afternoon. Ideas and theories right now have to do with food intake. A fasted run in the morning typically goes a lot better for me. If I've eaten food throughout the day and then I try to run around 2 or 3 p.m., that's definitely a factor. Another thing could be just temperature and sunlight. So when I am running at 5 a.m., it's dark outside. The sun and temperature could make it a little bit worse. But also a theory I have is just overall stress in general. Now, I wouldn't say that I have an incredibly stressful job like a lot of people in the military, things like that, firefighters. I'm not saying that kind of stressful job, but I am an entrepreneur. Always working pretty high capacity, pretty high pace, doing a lot of different things, juggling a lot of different things. And so I do wonder if that takes a toll on me to some degree, because when I first start in the morning, none of those things have really kicked in. But when I'm working out 2 to 3 in the afternoon, it's quite a bit different. My heart rate shoots up almost as soon as I start the run up to the top of zone 2, and I have to go so slow. And those runs have been incredibly, incredibly frustrating. So that's pretty much it for the log this week. Something I'll definitely keep you guys updated on as I log more and more miles. So over this last week, I logged about 24 miles. I think, yep, right at 24 miles of running. And then I did, each one of those hours of strength training. So 6 total training sessions and, not, 24, almost 24 miles, pretty solid week overall. Right now, my average heart rate for these runs is about 142, which is below my MAF heart rate zone. And my average run times right now, if I'm running well in this low zone 2, is about 10 minutes to 10 and a half minutes, again, depending on all these different factors. A really bad run for me, like if it was hot, like one of the days, like this was back in week 1, I think it was like hot. My back was like injured slightly, whatever. My run times can go up to 12 and a half minutes, something like that. And those days are the days I get really frustrated. But right now, those are my average run times, 10 to 10 and a half minutes when weather is good and everything else is good. And that's something that I'm looking to track as I go through all this training is what's my average heart rate and what's my pace, because I would love to be getting that much lower. I'd love to be running at 140 to 140 beats per minute average heart rate and getting that into the nines and even maybe the eights. That could take years, to be honest. That could take 2 years, but I really want to see it click into the nines really soon, because as I go through this rebuild process, trying to build back a lot of my aerobic fitness, it's definitely something I noticed that I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm working better towards working more towards it every day and getting better and better in the process. But that's it for the training log this week. If you guys ever have any questions about my training or what I'm doing, let me know. Happy to dive in more. Remember, if you don't kill comfort, comfort will kill you.